There have been attempts to fix English spelling for at least the last 600 years. One of the most famous was George Bernard Shaw, the playwright. When he died, he left a bequest for a competition for someone to invent a brand new way of spelling English, and they ran the competition, and a winner was declared, and no one's ever heard anything more about it. Because in the meantime, English, I'm afraid, has escaped, and there's nothing much we can do about it. Because if we wanted to change anything, we'd have to get something like 450, 60 million people who are first language speakers of English, and maybe 2 billion around the world who use it for some purpose or other, all to agree that they're going to change in the same way, the same direction, at the same time. And it just wouldn't go. There are lots of reasons why this isn't known. People tend to say, well, why can't English be phonetic? By which they mean one letter should have one sound and one sound should have one letter. Well, there is a system that does that. It's called IPA, the International Phonetic Association. You can find it on the web. And it gives precisely that. One letter for each sound. So if you give me a piece of language written in IPA, I can give you a pretty good representation of how it would sound to someone who speaks the language. Unfortunately, and you knew there was going to be an unfortunately.
I was waiting for it.
Here it comes. English has got so much variation that if we were going to have just one way of spelling it, it would have to be chosen from one place or one group of people, and everybody else would be left out. And that would be politically and strategically very difficult. Whereas the way things are at the moment, and I'll talk about American and British spelling a bit later, we've got a system of writing which is pretty standard across the English-speaking world. Is it a barrier to learning English? Probably. There is a lot of irregularity in it, but the fact that everybody writes more or less the same means that we can communicate, at least in writing. It's actually like Chinese. We tend to think of Chinese as being just one language. Well, it's not. It's about 600 dialects. And when they speak, a lot of them can't understand each other. And, for example, Mandarin Chinese has got 4 tones. Cantonese, spoken in, say, Hong Kong, has got 9. And the big thing about Chinese is that most of them write pretty much the same, and that's how they manage to have a unified country with a unified writing system. And actually the same is true in a slightly different sense in English, because we were once more phonetic than we are now. For example, K-N-I-G-H-T used to be knicht, and we pronounced the k, and the GH was a h. But over time, we found that kn was too hard to say, and there aren't any words in English which start like that, so we got rid of the K. And then the h sound disappeared. The only place it really occurs is in the word loch in Scotland, the place where the monster lives. And so these are right on the edge of language, and we have N-I-G-H-T pronounced the same as K-N-I-G-H-T, and I'm afraid we just got to do memory work to do it.